What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including how the WWE is booking Roman Reigns' loss, a big return at Clash at the Castle, a top star pulled from Clash at the Castle, various wrestlers requesting their release from AEW, Brodie will be in AEW Fight Forever, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. And now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at a rumor on how the WWE is booking Roman Reigns' loss. Atop of the news today is speculation on how the WWE could book Reigns to lose at Clash at the Castle. With the WWE's premium live event less than just a day away, fans are wondering whether the WWE will finally have Reigns drop the Undisputed Championship. Indeed, we discussed this on our website, and the WWE's booking a Clash could impact the WWE for at least the next year. On one hand, there's the WWE's efforts to secure a Roman vs Rock match at WrestleMania 39, with some industry observers and fans feeling that the match will be a title match. But there's also the thought that the match will mean more if the Tribal Chief goes in undefeated. On the other hand, there's the obvious disappointment that Cardiff fans will experience if Drew loses the match. Furthermore, there's the continued talk that the USA Network wants an active world champion on Raw, something missing since Roman unified the WWE and Universal Championships. While Meltzer discussed the situation further in this week's Wrestling Observer, explaining how the WWE could book things and presumably keep everyone happy. With them wrestling The Rock as the current WrestleMania plan, it doesn't need to be a title match, but they kept the title on him for so long, most figured it was because they didn't want to beat him prior to the match. The reality is that McIntyre could win and lose it back before Mania, and they could still do Reigns vs Rock and or Money in the Bank winner. WrestleMania 39 is still almost 7 months away, which means the WWE has many options to consider. It also has the plan for contingencies such as injuries and wrestlers' availability, The Rock being arguably the most important player in the event. If The Rock is unavailable, the WWE will have to find a new opponent for Reigns. Do you think Roman should drop the title to Drew McIntyre tomorrow? If so, does Reigns need to regain it before he wrestles The Rock, assuming that the match is even happening? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a big return at Clash at the Castle. Or will Paul Heyman be at Roman Reigns' side during his main event at Clash? Or while Roman's tribal council has been off TV selling the fearsome F5 he took from Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, Dave Meltzer is reporting that Heyman is in Wales for the WWE's big show. Unfortunately, it's unknown whether Heyman will be on TV. Do you think Paul will be in Roman's corner? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a top star pulled from Clash at the Castle. Another top star whose status for Clash at the Castle remains unknown is Ronda Rousey. Rowdy Ronda has been on a rampage since losing a rematch for the SmackDown Women's Championship to Liv Morgan, with fans speculating whether the baddest woman on the planet might show up at Cardiff during Morgan's title defense against Shayna Baszler. But according to Dave Meltzer, Rousey was scheduled for the event in some capacity, but things have now changed. Rousey's travel plans were changed, and Meltzer reports Rousey won't be in Cardiff. However, like any wrestling story, there's no need to take it at face value, especially a show this big. While Rousey is working a limited schedule in the WWE, her presence in Wales would likely lead to a big pop. There's also the ongoing storyline between Rousey and Morgan, not to mention the possible continuation of Rousey's program with Charlotte Flair. In light of the WWE's desire to surprise fans, it'll be foolish to rule out an appearance by Rousey at this point. Although the WWE has plenty of big names to use at Clash, there are no stars in the female division at Rousey's level. Do you think the WWE will surprise fans with an appearance? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a top AEW star returning from injury. Or could fans watching Sunday's All Out pay-per-view see a top star return? Now, you may have already heard the speculation that MJF could appear at All Out, perhaps entering the Casino ladder match as the Joker wildcard entrant. However, Meltzer thinks another absent wrestler could show up. The winner of the Casino ladder match will earn a future AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, and Meltzer mused on some possible entrants. There could also be a Japanese wrestler or a luchador, Dragon Lee notable given his falling out with Andrade and Rush in that angle, or bringing back Konosuke Takeshita. Lance Archer is on the roster and they don't do much with him. Adam Cole is expected to be healed up and ready, so perhaps it's him. With Bobby Fish gone from AEW, it'll be interesting to see if AEW continues Kyle O'Reilly's affiliation with Cole. At one point it appeared Cole, Fish and O'Reilly would feud with the Elite, but Cole and O'Reilly would need more teammates. AEW will also have Cole and or MJF return in some other capacity, perhaps calling someone out or interfering in a match. Next up, a rumour has various wrestlers requesting their release from AEW. There's plenty of rumours that things aren't rainbows and sunshines in AEW's locker room, a situation that has led to talk that one or more AEW stars have requested their releases. Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri recently tweeted, "I heard an AEW star requested their release and follow-up sources indicate it was Malachi Black. He reportedly has repeatedly shown concerns about his mental health due to personal life and demoralization due to the booking and handling of his character." Another name that's been mentioned is Miro, the former TNT champion who is scheduled to team with Sting and Darby Allin against the House of Black this weekend. Like any wrestling rumor, it's difficult to cut through the stories that are planted, stories that are flat out made up, and stories which are attributed to questionable sources. Let's take a look at what's being reported on the releases. First, Dave Meltzer noted on the latest Observer that there was at least one person who asked for his release which hasn't been granted, and the person has a long time left on his deal. There's confusion about just who asked for their releases as various reports are coming in. According to Fightful Select, another name that was listed by one of those less than reliable posters was that former TNT champion Miro claiming that he'd asked for his release. This was also shot down. As far as Malachi Black goes, Fightful Select explained that they heard the rumor within the AEW roster that Black had been unhappy, but the reason why wasn't something we could report without confirming firsthand. It was also said that AEW sources that we spoke to had claimed Black wasn't happy, also said they believed things had been smoothed over to some degree. Our fans will have to decide who to believe. However, if the story of one or more wrestlers under long-term contracts requesting their releases is true, it's another troubling sign for AEW. Next up, Gable Steveson stalled in WWE. It looks like WWE prospect Gable Steveson isn't working out in the WWE. They signed Steveson, a two-time NCAA Division I wrestling champion and an Olympic gold medalist, with hopes that he could be a major star. But according to Dave Meltzer, things aren't working out. Everything is cold on Gable Steveson. His brother is doing great and they wanted to debut him some time ago, but it hasn't happened because reviews on his training progress haven't been good. They were going to fast track him after he finished his last season in March, but he hasn't been around or talked about. Now you may recall Steveson appeared at WrestleMania 38 in a segment with the Street Profits, and there were rumors that he was going straight to the main roster after completing his training. Ringside News was reporting that it reached out to WWE about the story, saying, "We were told that Steveson's name isn't coming up at all. Maybe that makes him cold, but he's not a topic of conversation. We've heard nothing. He's not talked about." Now it's worth noting that Steveson decided to return to college and compete in amateur wrestling again, but this may have led to the WWE putting his pro career on the back burner. Steveson signed with the WWE as part of its Next in Line program, where amateur athletes prepare for an eventual career in the WWE. But the report continued saying it was made clear that this is not an instance of no creative pitch for him. The situation is about the fact that he's not on a list of people to talk about. Whatever he's done, he's not on the list. So this is something that is from way up top. While there are reports that WWE's given up on Steveson, it seems premature to say he's finished with the WWE. Obviously, it will look bad for the NIL program if Steveson washes out, but it's too early to say that's happened. And finally, Brodie Lee will be an AEW Fight Forever video game. Last but not least, good news for Brodie Lee fans, as the beloved wrestler will appear in AEW's video game. Dave Meltzer is reporting that Owen Hart will also appear in the game. Both will be playable characters. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.